Hello and welcome to Mind Your Loaf, a podcast about taking action on our mental health. I'm Jason Byrne. I'm with my co-host Mar.
Hi.
And the team at Irish mental health charity turntomeme.ie, who besides helping us with this podcast, provide professional mental health support online, free to everyone in Ireland. So this episode is number, I don't know. We're not too sure. But this is going to be it's kind of an odd one, right? And I thought, look, this would be a good idea to do this. So we're going to try and do this episode on grief. Now, what happened to me is that my dad died 2 weeks ago now. Yeah. So I just thought, okay, a lot of people go, oh, maybe you shouldn't do something like this on top of your dad so soon. But I'm kind of in autopilot right now. So I thought, yeah, I will. And I also thought, like, because I put up little pictures of him online and stuff, and then it really helped other people that their parents had passed away, and you know, other people connected to them, and they're all starting to talk to each other. So I just thought, okay, I'm not going to know how I feel like this in 2 months.
Yeah.
So I thought I should do it now. And we're also joined by Brian over there. Brian Holohan.
Hello.
And he's basically one of the counsellors on Turn to Me. Is that what you said that?
Yeah, I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist with Turn to Me, and I'm also the clinical manager there. Mm. Yeah.
So you're good to have here right now.
Mm-hmm.
So so you know that my dad died only, 2 weeks ago, and it's so what I don't. So basically, I mean, you can hear me already. Like, I don't know what's going on. Mm. So right now, as I said, I should do this because I have questions for you about, like, basically as therapists, like how I'm feeling, and like how basically who's listening to this that's going through what I'm going through, of what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, it's so dad, like, it doesn't feel like he's gone. Like, do you know what I mean? Is that common? I mean, to feel like in 2 weeks that, like, he still feels like that he's here. So I'm up at my mom's house. So what I would call the thing I'm in right now is autopilot. Do you know what I mean? Mm. So I don't feel like running away and bawling, crying in a corner. And then I also feel selfish about that. Do you know what I mean? And my mum is feeling a bit selfish about that because she's and my sisters, we're all getting upset in these weird waves.
Right.
So none of us. I'm not sitting down and crying for hours on end and wailing for my dad. I'm just talking away like I am talking now, and then next minute a word will trigger, or some sort of image in my head will come in, and I'll just get upset. But it was a bit like when I did the eulogy, in the church. I thought, I'm a stand-up, I can do this. This is an audience, it's no problem. And I did it. But as I did it, I got upset over a few things. And I got upset without even knowing I was really upset. So I was crying in front of me, but behind me I was standing. I wasn't like crying where I couldn't talk. I was talking and the grief was coming out of me. But behind me I was fine.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It was like as if I wasn't connected to the grief. I still amn't connected to the grief. Do you know what I mean? So it's still a really odd feeling. And so what happened was, is that dad, so my dad was 80, right? And this is another thing you'll hear a lot at the funerals and all. Well, he was 80, he had a great, that innings thing that they say. Mm-hmm. But then as his son, and I'm sure this happens to anybody connected to old people even, like my dad wasn't an old person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was big and he was moving around and driving just the day before he had a stroke. He was grand. And so I'm kind of going, no, I don't want him to be dead. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
And even though I am going to people and you have to be nice and go, yeah, no, he did have a great life. He did have 80 years on this planet, but I didn't want him to be gone.
That's not enough.
No, I want him to be here for 180 years.
Yeah.
So it's really hard that,
you
know, when people go, well, he had a great time. He really did. Fair play to him. Paddy was always a great laugh. But I'm going, no.
Yeah.
Let him come in the door there now.
Is there anything anybody can say to you at a time like this, really? Because, we all feel that discomfort and we want to say something that's going to comfort.
Well,
but
the one thing I found in comfort is talking about him.
Yeah.
Is that like friends and family and sitting around, and I feel that helped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just be laughing and crying, laughing at him, and and I think that's why it's so important to gather people around you.
And the whole ritual of the wake and inviting, like you had the wake in your dad's house, which was so lovely. Like it was like walking through his life, and here's who he was sitting the night before, and here's the shed out the back. You know, it was actually lovely and connecting.
Yeah, so we had I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's step through what happened, which is so he basically he had a pacemaker. He smoked cigarettes and whiskey in his little shed. He was told not to. He said he was 80. He went, I don't give a shit from 80. So I'm going to drop dead anyway. And my mum went, you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky to drop dead. And he went, shut up you, I will. I'll be grand, right? And he was, but he just didn't really think he was going to die. Do you know what I mean? And he, as I said, was a strong man. And so he had the cigarettes and the but he wasn't alcoholic or nothing like that. He sipped on whiskey and he was in singing with his Perry Como all the time. So I got a call from my mum on the usual thing. I was talking to him on the Saturday, and on the Sunday I got a call from my mother saying that he won't get up, he won't get out of bed, he won't get up. And I thought maybe, oh my God, she's in shock and he's probably dead. So I had to go to the house. Absolutely, I don't remember that drive at all. Yeah. So it was only 10 minutes away in my sister's house. So I went up there and I went upstairs and there he was. He wasn't dead. He'd had a severe stroke. So all down his left side, his arm was gone, his left leg was gone, his head was gone. Everything was gone. He couldn't even focus. So there wasn't any mystery. Do you know what I mean? I called the ambulance straight away. And that's the thing. If anybody is listening in, like, you know what I mean? Like loads of people are told by their doctors or by anybody, please don't smoke if you are prone to a stroke. You know what I mean? If you're on pacemakers, you got heart disease problems. But maybe somebody is listening in here can tell their granddad or tell their mother or tell whoever to not maybe do that.
Yeah.
Like if dad didn't smoke, he would have had another good 5-6 years. Yeah. But he just was like, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
So he had the stroke. And this was the amazing thing then was I just didn't panic at all. I just went into ringing the ambulance. I put my mum in the other room and we got, the ambulance came. And my dad was there. Like, I mean, I was so upsetting to see him like that. So with his right hand, he was grabbing all the time at a bit of sheet. And he was deep inside his own head. You could see him looking out almost. And I kept going right up to him and saying I was here. And he was going, okay, Jay, okay. And he could kind of talk. But I think he knew that he was going. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He wouldn't stop holding on to us. So then we got in the ambulance came. You know, and of course, like I've got to say, like Irish ambulance men and women are just amazing.
Yeah.
Because they make the whole situation lighthearted. That's how Irish people can deal with it. So basically they were just like saying, they were just going to my dad, oh, you'll be all right, Paddy. Like, you know what I mean? Just sit up there, roll over there. And they're very like definite about it. So that kept us all calm.
Yeah.
And then my dad built a spiral staircase, right? And so they had to get him down that in a chair. And it was so funny. They're going, did you fucking build this? Did you, Paddy? And my dad's had a stroke. He can't even speak. And they're going, you're going to kill us. One is, look, I can't believe it. We're going to be in the bed beside you. And my dad's just trying to talk to them. And so off we went. And anyway, so the thing was that we got to the hospital. The stroke was getting worse. We didn't know. And then I left him at 1 a.m. because they said he could be like this for months, you know.
Wow.
And then in my head, I was praying that he wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? Either he'd fully recover in an hour or that he wouldn't leave that hospital. Do you know what I mean? Which again, I felt so guilty about. I was going, I don't want my dad coming home. He couldn't walk. He couldn't talk. He couldn't go. He was in a nappy already at that stage. And my dad, like very proud man, driving up to the pub, walking everywhere, talking to everybody, you know, bringing me mum to doctors and doing everything. Like he's no way he could have survived that, you know, at home. So anyway, I got a call at 6 a.m. saying that he got unconscious, into deep unconscious. And then we went in and still I wasn't viciously upset. You know what I mean? It was just sad to see him like that. And my mum and my sisters were getting more upset then. And then what's amazing with the human body is that we were sitting there and his breathing was very, you know, like that kind of real vicious. And you're just praying that he could just relax.
Yeah.
They just give him more morphine and he starts to relax a little bit more, you know. And then this was the brilliant thing about, I don't know how humans do what they do. And these doctors that were with us see death like so much. They're just so used to how it goes. And it was lovely because what happened was my Auntie Colette and Auntie Joan came. I was about to leave to go and get a coffee about 6:30. And they came down and they said, oh, how's your dad? I went, oh, he's not great. He's in here. And we all went in. And I said, right, well, do you want to go down and get some coffees and everything? And I said, yeah, I might even just pop home for half an hour, and then that's when he started to die then. Because it was almost like he knew that everybody was there. And the other thing as well, if anybody's going through this, like I sat with my dad as well when he was totally unconscious and spoke to him the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
And words just flow from you.
I felt that amazing. I felt amazing. Like I was sitting with my dad with my hand on his forehead, and I was reading like a newspaper to him, but I was giving out to him. He always liked to moan, so I was moaning in the newspaper
on his behalf.
Yeah, but I felt that brilliant that I was with him.
Yeah.
So I was delighted it wasn't a doctor or a nurse on their own with him, or that he had a stroke in the street and a stranger would have died in front of a stranger or in the car. So we were very lucky. And
would you have ever had moments of tenderness like that with your dad before?
Yeah, but different.
Yeah.
That's the first time in my life that I was able to sit with my dad with my hand on his forehead, almost like childlike.
Yes.
Where I felt and had permission to do that.
Yeah.
Where he looked like he really wanted, because we entered this world as a child and we almost leave it as a child.
Yeah.
In my eyes, as I see it. So I was holding his head, holding his hand, squeezing his arm all the time. And he was totally deep. But it was almost just comforting.
Yeah.
To do that. Because I knew.
For you and for him.
Yeah, but I don't know how we knew he was going to die, but I just knew he was going to die. Like I didn't think he had long. He wasn't even breathing weird at that time. But then when he did go, the doctors were just fantastic. Like they were going, keep talking to him. Just keep talking to him. And my Auntie Joan had her hand on his shoulder and I had his hand. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life, like to watch him die. Like, so I remember I wasn't crying, so I'm obviously in shock. I must be in shock watching this. I don't know. And my mum and my sisters didn't want to see it. And it wasn't even that, like, it's not great to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of struggle. But then I watched him leave his body, which is, I'm not a religious person at all. You know what I mean? But I am definitely believe in an energy or some sort of spirit energy or some sort of life, because we're all energy. I believe, like the three of us are all sitting here, and the way we're propping ourselves up is with energy. You know what I mean? So I'd never seen anybody die in my life, and so I watched him, and I found that I was so glad I was there to watch him die, because it gave me peace to actually go, oh my God, you do actually. It looked like. Do you ever see it's almost like a bouncy castle? Do you ever see one of them with the air going out of them?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Right.
His chest sunk in, his face sunk in, his arms went down, his legs went down, everything went down in the bed like that. And I could just feel this something.
I remember you saying that, like you almost felt it go past you.
Yeah.
Like that.
I did this thing where I looked over to my left as this happened. And I don't know if that is that something is that like a comforting thing that our brains do to us when we're in shock? It makes us feel and think that maybe this is really happening. But yeah, I definitely felt that. Like, and what was great for me and anybody else, like if you can be at the death of your loved one, even though it's horrific to know that they're dying, it was so important to be there and to know. And I understand death more now. Do you know what I mean?
What did you?
Okay.
There's always a thing that they say that, we don't really accept that death's gonna come, and I didn't till then.
Okay. Why?
Well, I never accept, because I'm real fun, loving, like living. I think I'm going to live till I'm like, again, 186 million.
Right.
But the beautiful thing with the death was that when my dad died at 80, all he's doing is moving over for another life to come in, because there's no room for us all anyway. So when I seen that, I wasn't, okay, I know this is now, I'm only 2 weeks into this, but I'm not afraid of death as much as I was when I watched how gentle it can be.
Yeah.
So the very last bit, he was just lying there and the air just came out of him and he just stopped moving. And but the whole peace just came over his body, and he just moved from that body into wherever he went, like. So, when people say that your loved one is still with you all the time, they could easily be,
Yeah.
mean that energy wise. So, but then I straight after the death, I then stood in the hallway and went into Big Brother mode, and I went, "What are you supposed to do now?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do
There's
now?
no training for this.
No. So this is the one thing. The one thing that we're definite about, is death, and none of us are prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where my dad had his pension, he had all that, but he had nothing ready. So we were standing in the hallway, and I was looking at the nurse, this lovely male nurse, and I went, "What do you do now?" And he went, "Oh, you'd be okay. We'll just tell you what to do." I went, I've never seen anybody die. I don't know what to do. Do we stay? I had this vision of me pushing him down to the morgue and all this mad stuff. And he's going, no, we'll. And then they did this lovely thing where they let you stay with him for as long as you want, which is great. But I didn't, but I was fine. My sisters and all were very upset and leaving and all, but I didn't. I was going, he's not in there. He's not there now. So it's just a shell. It's a shell of your body.
Yeah.
And I've listened to other, like, which was mad leading up to this. I was listening to other philosophers like Alan Watts, who would deal a lot on death, and I think his name is Shadaguru. This is another guy.
Okay.
You can listen to, but they're brilliant on. So I basically before this in December, my father-in-law died as well. So like the grief has just been intense.
Yeah.
So I was trying to help other people as well by saying to listen.
What does Alan Watts say?
Yeah.
Well, what he says is that, he says is that, you know, first of all, he's a big believer in that, you know, celebrating the death. You know, stand around almost when they're going, open a beer, open a whiskey. Like it's not a sad thing.
Yeah.
And I know that my dad was 80. I have never experienced a child death or anything like that. I don't know how you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still, he's one of those dudes. Alan Watts is like, just go, like, you've been here. It's been brilliant. It's great to be here. But yeah, we do have to move over and make room for the next life. Yeah. And then the one thing that he said, which was kind of like the energy thing I was talking about, was that he said that we all have a subconscious in the world, you know, when we're here, but that's not real. You can't touch that. So that's like almost like your soul.
Yeah.
So that's like when we're gone, that stays behind. And that's like memories and talking about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was brilliant, because the way I'm dealing with it now is moving forward. So not looking at Dad's past all the time.
Okay.
So not like going, oh my God, do you remember he was only there 2 weeks ago? Oh my God, he only did that. I'm looking at him in a forward way. And in the way I've done that is that my mum, we've been focusing on my mum. So I think what we've done, me and my sisters and my brother, we've kept busy. But now what I've done is, so what they say is that, like, you know, we have children to pass the torch on to almost. So I felt like my dad had passed the torch on to me when he died, which is really weird. Without even knowing, I've been sitting in his chair at home, and I also move like him when I'm watching the telly and all. I always have my hand up to my head, and I sit the same way as him. My mom's like going, "What?" But like, so he's just passed on the torch,
right?
Yeah, to the children to live on. So, but I'm celebrating my dad in a way that he would go mental if we thought we were all sitting around crying. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So we cremated my dad purely because of that. Because I remember my dad going, I don't want you all standing around a bleeding hole, lower me in, all these L ones crying, right? And muck been thrown on me. He used to say, just throw me over the back wall, right?
Right.
So we put him in and we, you know, to cremate him was lovely actually. Yeah. And I thought that was a lovely way to go as well, because the curtains close in the crematorium. You don't see them. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
You don't see him going into anything. So with the hole in the ground, I know it's a more religious thing. Dad wasn't religious.
Okay.
So the going into the ground thing is just, you see them going in there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Didn't like that thought. That's just for our family. A lot of people listening, very much so
will have a different way.
Because they have other people in the grave that they want in there. But Dad was like, no, not at all. He was be joking. So I've been trying to take the positive out of his death. This is the way I've been working with it. So what I did is I got... my mum's on her own, right? So we started working out, right, Mum, let's see how we can try and get you a better life. Do you know what I mean? And like, not a better life, but a different life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go, oh, my mum's going to be on her own. She so misses my dad. My mum does miss my dad. Because like he said, even last night, I was sitting down on the couch and Mam goes, oh, God, I so miss your dad. Like, and why? She goes, well, she has these vaginal swabs, right? These things that she needs to do for old ladies. Yeah. They're called...
Well, I wasn't expecting
They're called Femi something, right? Femi, right? And I was going, what are they, Ma? She goes, not to worry. Geez, you don't want to hear your mother saying that. I was going, no, not really, Ma'am. Right? And she goes, yeah, I used to go upstairs and my dad would shout up the stairs, have you got your sticky uppers? Got your sticky uppers, Etna? So he was very funny like that all the time. And he looked after her like that. So she's going to miss him shouting mad shit
So
at
they're
her.
together, what,
53 years.
53 years.
So shouting stuff at her, do you know what I mean? Like, and he was an amazing energy in the house. Do you know what I mean? He moaned, but he was funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'd be there going, oh, what the hell's going on? That's a load of shite. And then he'd be saying something. Someone walked by the window. See a man there? He's a gobshite. He'd knock in, he'd buy it, he'd get me whiskey. You know what I mean? Great fella.
Yeah.
Great fella. So my dad would be happier to know that we're moving forward with his help.
Okay.
So basically, you know, that's the other thing you have to do is sort out all the affairs, all the financial affairs. Didn't know that was all going to happen. So we've been doing that. And now we're trying to get Mam sorted. And now the other beautiful thing is my sister. She won't mind me saying this at all. She was made redundant and she has 2 kids and she lives on her own and she was paying rent and all this kind of mad stuff. But now she's going to move in with my mum.
Brilliant.
Which my dad, that was his favourite thing. He always wanted, that was his thing. Conversation with dad was in a shed, out the back. And he'd go, so are you all right? Which means financially. Dad would be like that. I go, yeah. And he goes, all right, good man. So there's no, I go, no. He goes, all right. And then he poured
in-depth conversation.
Yeah, then he poured a whiskey, you know. So, but he cared. My dad was a hard man that cared deeply about everybody.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was very soft that way. So he would absolutely love the fact that my sister's moving in with my mum. My mum's kind of excited that she's not going to be on her own.
Yeah.
We have lovely neighbours, and so I've just been going up there and staying with her as much as I can, you know. But the thing with the other thing that I did was we were in Dad's room and we got loads of little bits and pieces belonging to him and I put them all into a memory box. So him as a kid, all different pictures, anything that was like that.
Lovely.
Because it's another thing that Alan Watt said as well, which I thought this was brilliant, was it's exhausting to mourn somebody all day, every day. Like how exhausting is that? To just go, oh, get up and go, oh, geez, he's gone. Oh, geez, he's gone. Next day, oh my God, he's gone. Oh my God, what are we going to do? He's like, that's crazy to do that to yourself. So he said you should treat the whoever's passed like an old novel, like put them away for a while. Not yet. He's only dead 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but put them away for a while like a good novel up on the shelf. And it's like in years to come, if you're wondering, like, oh my God, I would love a good novel, and if you take it down, if you can't remember the plot, so when you read the plot, it's like, oh my God, yeah. So like with Dad, even though he'll always be with us, there's no need to mourn him every second of the day. So like eventually we will just get back to the memory box or something will remind him of, because he was always out in that shed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sitting out there. Or he would funnily, like my mum, you go for the papers and you come back 4 hours later, you know? So funny stuff like that, you know? You come back, where were you? I was just getting a newspaper.
Yeah.
So, I love the pause.
Yeah. I was getting a newspaper. And it's like, when he was in the hospital as well, like when he was only sick for 2 days, you know? And that's the other thing, he's a jammy bastard. My dad was always a jammy bastard, right? And he's had to getting away with murder here, right? Because he had his first stroke when he was about 70, and he was in the stroke ward. And he said, I don't want to be in here. They're all nuts in here, he said. Right? He said that.
Right.
And the nurse said, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not nuts. They've all had strokes. They're severely sick. And if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you'll end up like that. And he went, I'm not going to end up like that. And he didn't. The jammy shit.
Right.
Basically, bang. Like, had a massive stroke, and next day, gone. And I know other people that are suffering, suffering from strokes right now, it's so horrific for them. Everybody I've spoken to, I met so many people with parents that are at home. I've met at least 5 different people saying it's just so hard if they've had a severe stroke and they're just not there. That's just, so hard trying to deal with that.
So you're focusing on the fact that your dad kind of didn't have to suffer like that, even though
is
it's
that
really
a
hard.
thing though? Like, you know,
Yeah,
because
I think
people
so.
say that to me and they go, well, he didn't suffer, you know.
Yeah.
But there's another bit of me that I you know, I kind of wanted to take him home.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was going, well, I'll get him a bed or get him, you know, toilets and stuff downstairs. It didn't bother me that, you know.
Yeah.
But that's because you don't want them to die.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So, so he didn't have that. So we're just going like, thank God that he didn't have that.
Yeah.
But there's the other bit going, but it'd be nice to hear him.
Yeah.
You know, even if he could only speak halfway through his mouth. You know what I mean? And even me getting upset there now like that, it's really weird. Like, cause like it's just, that's like, it just comes and it's gone again.
Yeah.
So, but it's just what you do. It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I'm dealing with it right. You know,
But
because no one told me.
But that's the thing. There is no actual hard and fast right way that you are supposed to do it. Like the one thing about it is that you turn around and suddenly somebody you love dies. Here's the manual that you're supposed to follow. It isn't like that. And everybody experiences grief in a different way. And like what you're experiencing now is what I would call, it's like a wave. It comes in, it might kind of hit you gently or it might knock you over completely.
Yeah.
But then it kind of passes and then you're able to get up and actually able to deal with things as you would do. But it's that kind of sense of it. But part of the thing that you mentioned earlier was around kind of the shock. And of course there is a shock when it is something sudden. Yeah. But it's not always shock for everybody. And everybody doesn't kind of experience it in the same kind of textbook kind of way that it would be.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's whatever relationship you have with the person out emotionally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just terrible sad to have your it's really weird to think that they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Like, you know, he's in the phone there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could press it and it'll dial.
Yeah.
But nobody will answer. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is kind of not so bad because he never answered anyway.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at the phone ring and going, that bleeding phone.
But it is one of those kind of things, you know, people will pick up the phone and actually go to ring.
Yeah.
And the opposite happened to me because when my own grandmother had passed away, I got a phone call and it came up as my grandmother's number. And I was kind of going, what the hell?
Oh, God.
But it was actually my mother had taken her mother's phone and was ringing. And I was kind of going, this is a bit too early to have that experience. But it is one of those kind of things where, you know, the person is with you and you do feel it. And the fact of the matter is that it is the memories, it is talking about him, it is kind of keeping him alive in that sense, that you connect with it and actually hearing the stories, because you get to hear stories that other people have of their experience of this person, stuff that you'd never have heard before. And you're kind of going, why didn't I hear this when they were here?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing actually helps hugely, you know, but
Because he lives on like that then.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe he's. I mean, I said it in the eulogy as well to my mum and all that. He's never going to go because his energy is just too much. He's too much of a big personality. Do you know what I mean? Too many people knew him.
Yeah.
And you know, and everybody had stories about him because he stopped and talked to everyone. You know.
Yeah.
And like, he wasn't like an L one though. He always used that word. He goes. I said that in my eulogy. I said like you never seen him at school plays because he said it was full of L ones. And then he said you'd never seen him at sport at what was it? No, school plays. And then the other one was like parent teacher meetings because that was full of L ones as well. And then he said he never went to football training or anything because he says that was full of outfielders acting as L ones.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because like it was, and it's endless how funny his way of living was. But as I said, my dad's way, if anything, I should take from my dad. And first of all, I know we're going to die now. I kind of, you know, as I said earlier, so I have more of an acceptance of death. I know that it is scary, but it depends on whichever way you're going to go. But like it looked quite peaceful that way.
Yeah.
And but my dad was quite a laid back dude. Like literally, you know, my dad used to say, if you worry, you die. And if you don't worry, or if you worry, you die. If you worry, if you worry, you die. If you don't worry, you die anyway.
Right.
That's what it was like. So
the philosopher.
So why worry?
Yeah, exactly.
So my dad just sat in that shed.
Yeah.
He retired at 55 and churned along and just whatever.
And lived his life the way he wanted it, really, didn't he?
He did live it the way he wanted. He never wanted anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't materialistic at all.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Just sat around broken radios around him all the time.
Right.
He loved broken things because he was going to fix them.
With the valve.
But he never did. Yeah, he'd have valves. Like there's valves from the old radios.
Oh, yes.
So the only thing I'm afraid of now, like the fear I have, and the reason why I did this now so early was that I don't know what kind of grief's ahead of me. Because a lot of times, I mean, I don't know, it might be an Irish thing, but Irish people love saying that. They go, it's when everybody's gone, it'll hit you the most. When that's when
Well, I suppose what you're in now, all the
gone.
rituals around death, the wake, and as you said, the autopilot, you're sorting out the financial affairs and all that. There's a kind of a ritual about that carries you through the first part, the early days after. And I do think that grief, well, as you said, Brian, it's not linear. It doesn't follow a particular path. It can come in waves. Some days, some hours will be better or worse than other. But I think that the thing with grief is that something I've found myself saying is we are built as humans to be able to deal with it, and it is bloody hard and horrific. But we are able to deal with it when our grief will come and we're able to deal with it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I right now, if anybody wants to know what it feels like I have a kind of weight on my shoulders right now.
Yeah.
And a bit of anxiety kind of in the front of me. That kind of sits there.
Yeah.
All the time. It's like that's really weird.
Yeah.
Because I've never felt that before.
Yeah, it can be quite physical. Like there's physical pain.
Yeah.
In your body.
It's like whoa.
Yeah.
And then I also feel as well because whatever, I'm 48, my mum's like 76, whatever. I feel like we need to take the burden off her. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, that's probably quite common to take it off the mother or the father, and then you just go, okay, we'll do that, because it's almost we have to pretend like it's all okay, and then she sees it's all okay. She's like, oh Jesus, because if she sees her children crying, then she gets upset. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, just all I can say is it's just pushing forward, trying to push forward with it, but taking with us in a memory form, in an energy form, as opposed to a physical form. Do you know what I mean? Because and I wasn't even ready because we had a picture for him that was on top of the coffin, that kind of thing. And he looks really well in that, of course. And then that was in the living room the other night, and walked in, and I just kind of wasn't ready for that at all. Because you know what I mean? Because I was going, oh, he looks all right in that picture. Yeah. Oh, hang on, maybe he's upstairs. Yeah. Oh, hang on, is he going to come in looking like that?
Because you really want to strongly believe it's very hard to accept that he is gone. Do you know what I mean?
And last night I was in bed in my box room, because that's where I slept for years, in the box room. And it was always, that box room was always reminding me of my dad, because he never slept in there. Do you know what I mean? And it was freezing, because anybody that listens in Ireland, the box room is where children froze to death in the 70s. And it was 2 outer walls with a window that might as well have just been a hole in the wall. And damp coming down the wall. I used to say a joke that my mum used to set the trifle in that room.
You're saying that.
And so Dad, I lay there last night just laughing, you know what I mean, in that room, just going like, he never even lay here once to know, like, jeez, the room's bleeding, freezing. But he'd still say that. He'd go, your mother's gone into that room now. Jeez, it's freezing, that room. And so last night I felt like I felt a really weird thing, right? So I was talking to him last night. Do you know what I mean? And I was just going, oh, Dad, I hope you're all right and all, and just kind of nodding off in the bed and stuff. And my mum says she's been doing that as well. She's been talking away to him, which I found kind of comforting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what mad is. I don't think mad exists, by the way. People always go, "You've been mad doing that." I don't think anybody's mad doing anything. No. And so it's if anything, I'd say it's normal to do that, to talk to him. And I was just asking him how he was, and then I felt like he was outside the door.
Did you?
Yeah, but that's another thing that must happen to your brain, that that must place him near you. Might be why people think they can, or might feel like see the thingy. But like, if anything at all, I was kind of laughing last night. I said, if that could actually happen, my dad would just frighten the shit out of me for the laugh. Do you know what I mean? He'd open the door and go, "Whoa," and I go, "Dad," and then he'd leg it. Do you know what I mean? So in that way, yes, I've been in houses before where you think, oh my God, this is a bit spooky, is there something happening? But it was me dad. Yeah. I was almost willing him to sit on a chair or appear somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he always told a story about his old uncle that when he was 8, he was in his nana's house, which is near Glasnevin Graveyard. It's down by the Grave Diggers pub, which, by the way, was never ever called the Grave Diggers pub. My dad and all love saying that. It was never called that ever.
What was it called?
It's called, I can't remember, Gallagher's or something like that. I can't remember the name of it is now. But it was the Grave Diggers pub. It wasn't called the Grave Diggers pub. So I can hear me dad now. See, I'm taking over from my dad. This is the shit you'd hear in the
public service.
This is what you'd hear in the shed. He goes, now you tell people it's the Grave Diggers pub, as in that's where they went. It was never called that. Everyone was getting angry, going, all right, Dad. So, he said he's seen his uncle at the end of his bed in a chair, kind of tip his hat at him. And then my dad went downstairs and said, my uncle Ned was upstairs, and they went, he's dead 3 years. So I was almost willing me dad last night to, like, I'd be, what would you do? Like, but I was wondering if would my brain almost form him. Because I can see him when I close my eyes.
Okay.
When I'm in the car, so he always used to say, all right, Jay. He'd say that, all right, Jay. And I can hear him behind me all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Always can hear him. And my father-in-law, Eddie, always said that as well. All right, Jay. He died in December. Dad died in February.
Gosh.
But if you don't have to be religious to feel that they could be somewhere with each other. Do you know what I mean? Because it was quite funny because I went to where was I? I was doing it. I was meditating. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was meditating after thingy, and I was lying down, and there's this monk that I go to. He's there. He's always in my brain. And he sits by a fire. No, I don't actually go to a monk.
Okay.
I meditate, and that's where my brain goes.
Okay.
And whatever I'm feeling is how he is. So he laughs at me, or he cries at me, or he whatever, or he stares at me, or he talks to me, but I can never hear him, but I know what he's saying, which is amazing. And he just sits there. So this time, my dad was there sitting beside him when I was lying there.
Really?
Okay.
And my dad was there, and my dad's best friend Pat was there because my dad died just within a year of him.
Wow.
So my dad wasn't happy when he was not with him anymore. So he was there, and my father-in-law Eddie was there to treat him. And Eddie and Pat loved my dad. You know what I mean? Because he was a chancer. And so my dad was sitting there, and he was pouring out whiskey, and he was giving it to Pat, and then he was sneaking Pat cigarettes because Pat was never allowed to smoke because he had cancer. And he was sneaking fags that. And Eddie was being given the whiskey because Eddie never really drank much, and my dad was giving it to him. And the three of them, and then my dad was just staring at me, laughing at me. And he was going, what are you doing? I was going, meditating. He goes, you're meta what? And he was elbowing the other lads. Going, what are you doing meditating?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Like, and so I went to him, and so I feel like he's definitely always around me and always will be.
Yeah.
So I'll just see what happens now from here on in. But as you said, Brian, everybody's different. So maybe I shouldn't try and see what happens.
Well, everybody is different. Everybody experiences it in a different way, but it is about going with it. And the one thing about it is, as Mara had said, at the end of all of the different, people calling in, people getting in contact, all of that busyness that happens and sorting things out, it's then when it gets quiet and everybody goes back to their own lives. Yeah. And it's at that point that it suddenly kind of can hit again, because you're kind of going, well, there is nobody calling to say, are you all right? There is nobody kind of reaching in at that stage.
Yeah.
And it's about kind of being okay with grieving itself, because it will hit in a wave.
Yeah.
And then the whole idea is kind of believing that, remembering, focusing on the good times that you have, as you said already, the positives that you're kind of taking from everything. But they live on, especially as you kind of said that the baton or the light was handed to you and that you then pass that on.
Yeah.
And that's the way we do it. We talk about all the stories and hear all of these things, and that keeps it going. It keeps the person with us at all times. Yeah. And that sense of, not even from a religious point of view, but that sense of they're actually with you. You can actually hear them kind of, exactly as you're saying, this is what they'd say to you if he was there, and you're kind of going, he'd be looking at me going, really, are you going to do that? And that's the sense that they're with you at all time. And we do find that we talk to ourselves in a way of going, well, what would he actually have done? How would he have approached this? Or what would I do? If only he was here. But then you actually kind of, you almost speak to yourself in a way of what he would do, and then you would actually do it after that. So they're always with us.
Yeah, and what a lovely thing was, we'll put these links in at the end to Alan Watts and to His name is, it's SADH Guru. It's like Sadhu Guru, right? And he is hilarious. I like these two guys because they're quite funny.
Okay.
And they keep saying they don't know anything. They're like, we don't know shit. So we'll tell you what we were told and you can take it on if you want. But he said a lovely thing, this Sadhu Guru said that, like, basically he was talking about people who might have, died in certain different ways, and even in the way that Dad did, because he had a smoke and a cigarette. So this guy doesn't condone any of that. He's like, there you go. And he says, basically, your dad's body just, your he actually said, he was talking about a dad. He says your dad's body just, ran out. That's it. It just gets used up. That's and the body just went, that's me full now. Thanks very much. You've used every bit of me now, and I'm done. And then he says that they do leave us as only as we know them. Do you know what I mean? But they don't leave totally. Do you know what I mean? But they just leave us as Paddy Byrne in that body.
Yeah.
But they
physically.
But they don't.
Yeah.
But he believes them. Whoever wants, they don't actually leave, and that's in your subconscious or energy or spirit or whatever God you believe in.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with grief, isn't it? I think that's what you're doing. It's finding meaning, making it. How can I make this make sense to me?
Yeah.
And that is a deeply personal thing as well. And you're choosing your way, and other people will have different ways, and other people will struggle more with it. But
yeah, and the other beautiful thing is that, they say that when you're falling asleep, if you try and think about you falling asleep, then you won't fall asleep.
yeah.
But then when you're gone, you don't know that you're gone. So, like, same way with when I watched my dad passing, like when he was finally gone, it's like
Letting go.
there is no carpet, there is no ceiling, there is no light bulb, there is no horrible, there is no good, no bad. He doesn't know. He still doesn't really know. Do you know what I mean? And whatever form or shape that he took, the piece I can take is that. And even when I seen him in the coffin in the house, which is another weird experience, that's odd. Because you go to wakes, other people's houses, and you kind of go, oh, but when it's your own parent lying in the coffin, But I had no problems with that. Because, like, I was just going, he's just so not in there. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, whatever. Put the lid on and then, like, bring him up. And, even when I was doing the eulogy, I could hear him going, will you hurry up? He was like going, blah, 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 blah.
Do you think he would have enjoyed hearing what you were saying about him? Yeah. Would he have known?
I would have done that.
Yeah, would he have known how you would have spoke about him? Do you think he knew how he was held in your mind?
Well, my mum used to say, your father loves you. That was her line always. He tells me every day that he loves you, because he was never really like that. He was only a hugger and a bit of a, whatever, up near the end. He didn't know he was near the end. Yeah. But, it's the usual. Like, a friend of mine, Jason Manford, who's a comedian, brilliant. He was there going, my dad, like, he's out in the garden playing with the grandkids and running around after them. And I'm going to my wife, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Who's that in the garden? I don't know who that is. Running around with the kids, playing them and banging them on the knee and going, woo. So Dad was getting very huggy and lovey then, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I knew him backwards, you know what I mean? He was a hard man. He did say, like, he was like, oh, what are you crying for? And I'm moving on and having a drink. But he was very soft as well. Yeah. So I got that out in the eulogy. All the funny things that he did. Yeah. Like my uncle Tony, who's not my real uncle, said to me in the pub, we were out on holiday once with your father. And at the end of the night, we were all very, very drunk. And my dad stood up and went, Jesus, I'm just too drunk to walk. I better get the car. So they drove home, and next day he goes, Jason, I gotta got the car. So Dad was all like that. But then I did do a beautiful thing where he was very good to my mum, made her dinners, got her pills ready day and night.
Yeah.
Asked her did she have her sticky uppy thing each night, made her hot water bottles, drove her into Guinness's, get her pills, do everything, go shopping with her, always shared the trolley.
It's like he got the chance to be like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas maybe at the beginning, men's roles back in 70s, 80s.
Oh yeah, nothing. Yeah, no, he got to be a loving husband and granddad and father,
and you got to experience it.
Yeah. So it wasn't too late. If he felt that, Jesus, maybe it was too late. I don't know. He wasn't.
Yeah,
we all loved him. Yeah. Right, we better not dwell too much more, because me dad be loving this. We're like, do another hour on Paddy.
How was it for you to talk about this today? Yeah. Was it?
No, thanks for listening to me, because that's the thing. Is talking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is that the more I talk about it, the better I feel. I feel actually good now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because Peter, as you were saying, is it not too early to talk about it? But I actually feel good, and I feel that someone's like listening in and thinking like, oh, that's how Jason dealt with it, and I'm dealing with it differently. So that's, you've said that, Brian. It's not odd.
Yeah,
you can wail and cry, or laugh and smile, or run and jump, or go to Zumba and come back and not care.
Lots of people join lots of groups, to be part of something, just to not be on their own. And other people cherish the opposite. They just don't want to deal with lots of people.
Yeah, they want to just wallow and think about themselves. Where my family are very sociable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you might have days where you do just want to withdraw and just shut down. That's totally fine, and everything is totally fine.
Yeah.
Whichever way.
I know, it's so, and Dad makes me laugh every day. Even coming in here right now, I know he's going, like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Should we talk about something different maybe? Or maybe he's loving it. And then I went for a run the other day, and he always used to think that was hilarious. He'd be like, what are you doing? What? I'm going for a run. What are you going for a run for? Because it makes you feel better. And he goes, you don't sit down and have a whiskey. That makes you feel better. So even that run, I was running and smiling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the one thing I will take from it is that we'll just push forward, keep his memories, keep laughing about him. And, get up. And the way I got upset there earlier on, I had no idea I was going to do that.
Yeah.
That thing, that's fine. Cry about him, laugh. And most important thing is talk. You got to let it out somehow into somebody. And even this website, this Turn to Me website that we work for, there's free counselling on there and stuff. People can use that. Yeah. Even if you don't want to be like with loads of other people.
Yeah. And we can run, and we do run a bereavement support group online as well, brilliant. Which is anonymous and free as well. So if you kind of wanted to not be in a room with everybody, you can actually be online and actually engage with other people in a supportive space as well.
Because I do think some people are kind of reticent to talk about their grief because they're afraid it's contagious. So I don't want to make other people sad, or I don't want to lower the mood, And then what can often happen is that people they don't get a chance to express their grief if they need to. So those bereavement groups are they're so connecting and necessary sometimes, because I do feel people are afraid to say, I actually am having a really tough time, because they don't want to put a downer on the party, and that can really increase the loneliness. So I think it's really important that people know. Rob Delaney, the guy from that's in catastrophe, and he spoke a lot about his grief around his son. His little son died.
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought it was brilliant in that he's changed the narrative, saying we want to talk about our grief, not just about our son, but our grief. And I think as humans, we're often quite, we feel, oh fuck, I don't want to think about your dad dying, because then I have to think about my dad dying. Do you know, this kind of thing? Because it's such a shared, we will all feel it at some stage. Every one of us will feel grief in some shape or form. Yeah. But it can be very, I do think people feel uncomfortable talking about it. So those support groups, and I've Turned to Me, have them. I mean, it's really brilliant.
It is the idea of actually talking, and that's the key. It's too many times people don't engage in talking about it. And then, as you say, Mar, sometimes people turn around and go, well, I don't really think that I can say anything more about who I've lost, because nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
And then you're left holding on to that and never getting the opportunity to actually say, well, look, I'm going through a tough time. I need to talk to somebody and I really miss them.
Yeah.
So, the groups are a really good way. Talking to people is a really good way. Keeping the memories alive, good, bad and indifferent. They're all part and parcel of the experience that we've had with that person in our lives. So it all matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we'll continue to look at his crooked wallpaper in my ma's house. That took him about 4 weeks to do one wall. Because Paddy always went, I'll have a break there. I'll have a break. Another break. Another break. Another break.
Oh, God.
And as I said, and my other favourite one was, my mum wanted an extension in the bathroom, so he put a massive mirror on the wall.
Did he?
Yeah. He goes, no, that's bigger.
That's what I call creative
Looks
thinking.
bigger, hooray! Off to the pub. But that's what we're going to do now. 3 of us are going for a whiskey to celebrate Paddy Byrne.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason, thank you very much. I think you've done a great thing to talk about it.
No bother. And actually, that already upsets me, saying thank you to me talking about it, because my dad's going, well, shut up. Just sitting here talking, you know what I mean? But no, it's great. I hope that does help somebody, and let's see what happens now. And good old Paddy Byrne. So, well, thanks, Brian. Holohan.
Thank you.
And Mar. And mind your loaves.
And mind yourselves. You've been listening to Jason Byrne and Mara, and this is Mind Your Loaf. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, tell your friends, and don't forget, if you or someone you know is going through a tough time, there is professional mental health support online, from counselling to support groups, all available for free for anyone in Ireland on turntome.ie.
Turn to Me provides professional mental health support.
Jason, do your, your ad voice.
Oh yeah, I'll do the ad. Yeah. Okay, I'll do a proper ad thing. Okay, ready? Yeah. As a registered charity, Turn to Me provides professional mental health support online for anyone in Ireland going through a tough time. From one-to-one counselling to group and peer support, Turn to Me is accessible from any device anywhere in Ireland. If you would like to support Turn to Me, you can donate €4 by texting Turn to Me to 50300. Text costs €4. Turn to Me will receive a minimum of €3.60. Service provider like charity. Helpline 076 680 5278.
Is that you?
Yeah, that was actually me there.